Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to get into how many exercises do you need per muscle group. I'm going to save you guys a lot of time here. Blow your minds and save you time. I'm going to blow your mind and save you time. That's my new tagline. It's going to be on a shirt probably. Maybe. Whatever. Either way, so we've all been guilty of being in the gym doing way too many exercises per muscle group. And it makes sense because for those who really don't know much about the body, you hear things like quadriceps, triceps, biceps. So you hear the terms and you're like, well, if there's 4 muscles in the quad, that means I probably need to do 4 movements. Or the chest. You got the upper chest, the lower chest, the mid chest, whatever. So you're gonna do, 3 or 4 exercises, right? Because you gotta hit it. Every angle you gotta hit. How many angles are there? We're just gonna do as many as possible because for the most part, we think that more is better in the gym. And that makes complete sense. The longer I spend in the gym, the more muscle I should build. When it's like the complete opposite. Because the longer you're in the gym, the less time you get to recover. And recovering is when all the magic is going to happen. And what's recovery? Recovery is not training, obviously, letting the muscles heal by proper nutrition, proper rest, sleep, hydration, all those things. So if you're in the gym too long, that means you're going to take longer to recover. So we're talking about like hypertrophy and muscle growth. We want to be in like the most optimal range, and that's basically training each muscle group 2 to 4 times a week. Then I would say 10 to 24 hard sets a week. And then your sets are going to be around like 30 to 45, 50 seconds. And you're training loads between 30 to 85% of your 1 rep max. That's in a full week. So when it comes to sets in a day, it's 3 to 12 hard sets a day. Now you can do more than that, but then we get into that junk volume. What does that mean? This means that you're doing way too much that's not going to stimulate any more muscle growth. Because what happens? You drain yourself of glycogen, you're no longer really getting a pump, you're getting more sore than actually building muscle. So 3 to 12 hard sets. So when it comes to how many exercises we need to do, we have to kind of like look at like how many things do the muscles actually do? Well, they do really only like 1 to 3 things. You're like, wait a minute, John, there's like, when you come to the quads, there can't just be 1 or 3 things in the quads. Like, well, like when you look at it, yeah. What do the quads mainly do? Before we get into like overlap of some other exercises. Well, your quads, the muscle in the front of your leg, it extends your knee. There's other little tiny things that they do, but for the most part, we're talking about like isolating the movement. We're talking about isolating the muscle, and we want to get that muscle big, make it grow. For instance, let's go for like our bicep. We can see our bicep, right here. My bicep does a couple things. The main function that it does is if I'm gonna sneeze, it brings your, does this, right? I'm sure you're not flexing and bring your arm like this to doing this when you're about to sneeze. But again, if I want to scratch my nose, that's all it does. It also does, when my hand's this way, my bicep flips my hand over. It does that old soup thing. Just flips the hand over like that. But for the most part, all it's doing is this. It's doing this. The pecs. It's taking this arm and it's pulling it in. Think about flies. Flies are basically doing exactly what the chest is doing. Now, we have our upper chest, we have our mid chest, and our lower chest, and the intercostal head of the chest. They all attach around the same area. They're all going to primarily pull your arm in like this. They're going to pull your arm in like this and up, and they're pull your arm like this and down. It's going to do 3 different angles, but it's still just pulling your arm in. Now, there are different parts of the chest that if you loaded it, you're going to build it a little more. Like there's some studies that are done that when you do incline press, you're still hitting the bottom part of your chest just as much as you would if you're doing flat bench. But when it comes to you adding a bunch of exercises, like I got to do decline, I got to do flat bench, and then I gotta do flies, and then I gotta do a couple things when I turn this way so I can hit the inside of my chest like this. You don't need to. So what happens when we understand how many exercises we really need? When we think about it, 1 to 3 exercises, it kind of chops a lot of your work in half, right? We're looking at, all right, how many sets in total, how many exercises? Well, we can start putting things together. So what does it look like? Get a pen, get a paper, let's start programming. 1 to 3 exercises, 1 to 5 sets. That's going to cover all your bases. It's just going to cover everything. What does this do? It keeps you not wasting time. Pick 1 or 2 exercises and just have at her, and you're fine. So when we're trying to put these things together, what does it look like? Okay, well, super simple. Let's just take back, for instance, okay? and we want to train the entire back. What I like to do is I look at it back in 3 different ways, right? 3 exercises at most. You can even get over just doing 2. But like if I'm going to do 3 exercises, I'm going to do what? 12 hard sets. I got 3 exercises here. You know what I'm going to do? I might even it up and do just 4 sets of each. Some kind of version of a pull-up or a pull-down. You know, then we can do like a horizontal row. We're hitting the traps, mid-traps and whatnot. So we're doing maybe a seated row or a chest-supported row. And then maybe we're doing a bent-over row, right? We're hitting the entire back. Let's take like chest. We want to, for those people out there who are myself, my chest is weak up top. I want to emphasize, make sure that I can fill in this hole of the chest I got. So I'm going to do an incline press of some sort. I'm going to do 4 sets. And then I'm going to do 4 sets of Smith machine incline press. And then I'm going to do cable flies. And I might change the angle where I'm pulling the cables just parallel with my shoulders. Biceps. We can do a supinated. We're going to do maybe like 4 hard sets of supinated, and we'll do 4 hard sets of hammer grip. So we can hit the bicep and we can add some forearm there as well too. Triceps. Do we got to do 3? You can just do 2. We can do an overhead of some sort, a cable overhead, tricep extension, bam. Hit that, 4 hard sets there, and maybe we'll do a close grip bench press. Super simple, right? Hamstrings. We can do lying hamstring curls, 4 hard sets of lying hamstring curls. We could do 3 hard sets of Romanian deadlifts. So you kind of get the scheme of things, right? Putting it together. And again, too, you got to understand, we have more than one day in the week. So I understand a lot of times we go in one day and we want to like put a bunch of exercises in one day. Remember, if you're doing like, say, push-pull legs, you do some of the exercise you like on one day, and then you add some of the other days. So like, put it this way. For me, I usually have my chest at the beginning of the week because my chest is my weakness. And then I'll do my incline press. I'll do my flies, and then on my shoulder day when I'm doing more of my shoulder stuff, I might add in flies or another incline press on my shoulder day, right? I'm going to add into the shoulders in the front delt and my upper pec, right? So I have 2 different days I can do things. Let's take back, for instance. On one of my back days, I can do pull downs, 4 sets of pull downs, 4 sets of T-bar rows, and then some straight arm pull downs. Then on my second back day, I'm going to do some bent over barbell row or Smith machine bent over rows with maybe some straight arm pull downs or some pullovers. I can always divide those things up. We don't have to put everything in on one day. So if you have like a push-pull legs training plan or a 5-day split where you're emphasizing the muscle that needs to be hit a little more, then you can take some of the exercises and you can spread them out. You don't have to do everything in one day. But when it comes down to it, the only thing you have to do is basically find 1 or 2 exercises that are your go-tos and go to town. Enjoy them. I have go-to exercises for every single one of my muscle groups. I go through right now. For chest, 15 degree and a 30 degree press of some sort and flies. My back, I like doing supinated pull downs or pull-ups, and I like doing chest supported rows. And then obviously some straight arm pull downs. Bicep curls could be preacher curl, obviously preacher curl supinated, and I like doing cable hammer curls. My triceps, love doing the seated tricep extensions. Then I like doing 1 arm cable kickbacks. Shoulders for me, love doing Smith machine press with ladder raises, and then face pulls. Quads, I love doing front foot elevated Smith machine lunge. Love doing those, and I love doing leg extensions. Love those. Hamstring curls, if I'm going to pick a hamstring curl, I do prefer doing lying hamstring curls over seated, even though you can load them a lot better. But I just love the way I can hit it. I like doing lying hamstring curls. And when it comes to that other exercise, I like doing Romanian deadlifts. So I have exercise that I like. I have my go-to exercise, and that is what I suggest for you too. When I coach my athletes, first little bit of planning we do is I go through the plan with them and I say, hey, look, for the first month, you're obviously going to train. We're going to get our form together, make sure you get a full range of motion. Our effort is at its high. But I want you to go through these exercises and find the ones that you like to do the most. And that's how we do it. But again, guys, we're saving time in the gym, giving ourselves more time to actually recover, and we're just being more efficient. And that's it. So guys, 1 to 3 exercises at most, 3 to 12 hard sets a day, 1 to 5 sets per muscle group. And that's it. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you guys like, subscribe, and share. You know, become with the telekinesis, transparent, vulnerable truth. And for coaching, JONNI.com. If you want to know more about my coaching, guys, book yourself a 1-hour video consult with myself. You talk about training, nutrition, supplementation, or mental health. Whatever you guys want to talk about, we chop it up. And at the end of the consult, I deduct $100 off any package that you pick. Head on over to the link in the description below. My Discord group is open. And also, if you really want to get into some really in-depth, intimate training with me, join my school community right now. Only $25 a month and you get everything I just said for free. Anyway, guys, until next time, you know how it is. Iron sharpens iron. Progressive overload your life. In the meantime, keep dream chasing. Peace.